3 days, 80 teams, all Apex Legends. That's what we love to see for the preseason invitational going on in Poland from the 13th through the 15th. Breaking down the format of what to expect as how the tournament will be ran, including point breakdown, and of course, more importantly, prize breakdown coming right up for you guys. Hello everyone, welcome. It's good to see you guys. If it's your first time to the channel, pleasure having you guys with me. I'm IHOLDSHIFT. This is Tinnerman. We're ready to do this thing. We're going to be talking about the preseason invitational in Krakow, Poland that'll be happening over the next couple of days. And we're going to be doing two different videos for you guys. The first one kind of explaining the format, and obviously scoring, prize breakdown, how the bracket itself works. It seems strange to have kind of a bracket situation for a Battle Royale, but we'll break everything down for you guys. And hopefully, I don't know why my camera is blinking, but hopefully we'll be good to go and get you guys at least some information. So, some background about me first, just as far as if this is your first time here, I'm a professional broadcaster. I've done a lot of stuff with Call of Duty and Overwatch. I've also done a lot of things casting Apex Legends. Hopefully going to be able to do more stuff like that, and hopefully with this channel, depending on how this is a preseason, however the regular season works out, hopefully we can continue to do more videos like this. Tinnerman, tell the people a little bit about yourself as well.
I've never done anything very cast or analytical wise. I've pretty much just been doing videos for Apex. I used to compete and do Pro League for this game, so I know a lot about how the game plays, and I know a lot about the community around it Pro League wise, so that's kind of what I bring to the table.
You sure do. And if you are interested in looking more at Tinnerman's videos, I will link his YouTube channel probably right down there. I'll probably leave it down the screen for you guys. Well, let's dig into this. I'm going to start with the first things first. $500,000 is what we're playing for over the course of these next couple of days between September the 13th through September the 15th. $105,000 for the team that comes in first, $75,000 for second, $60,000 for third, $48,000 for fourth, and then a dispersion from $39,000 down to $4,800 from 5th to 20th. And there will also be an $8,000 prize pool for the Apex Predator, also known as most total eliminations. But there's also a point distribution to go over as well before we talk about format. And this is what I kind of want to get your take on as well, Tinnerman. It'll be eliminations will provide a single point per kill, and then first place for 12 points, second for 9. First place is 12 points, second place is 9 points, third place for 7 points, 5 points if you go in fourth place for 5th, and then 6th through 10th is 2 points, 11th through 15th is 1 point, and then nothing if you finish 16th through 20th. Now, both of us have had some experience casting in other Battle Royales with different formats and point system. What are your initial thoughts about that point distribution as a whole?
Honestly, it's pretty fair. You went out really big if you get a first place, so whoever gets a first in any of these opening rounds will be able to pull through because it's a lot of points. And it tapers off pretty well. Obviously 16th through 20th shouldn't really get a lot of points, and then it slowly just trickles down. I think it's fair.
Yeah, we saw, I think, just generally, if you look back, this is the same point distribution from the EXP X Games Invitational.
Yeah, it is.
And it did a pretty decent job of rewarding the teams that did go for kills. I mean, Reciprocity and TSM both were very hefty as far as how many kills they were able to pull in total. Yeah. Exactly. The consistency is absolutely huge. Prize distribution, that is what it is. A good chunk of money for everybody. But let's talk about the format as a whole, because this is where things get maybe a little bit confusing for some people. We will be starting with a group phase. Again, 80 total teams are participating at Poland, 20 per each of the first 4 pools, or groups, however you want to call them. So it'll be Group A, Group B, Group C, and Group D. And then this is where things get kind of weird. Throughout the entire playoff, the top 10 teams from each of the matchups will go into the next round, where the bottom 10 will fall to a loser's bracket. And then if you put yourself in the loser's bracket, same situation. Their top 10 from the loser's bracket matches go on to the next round. The bottom 10 will fully get eliminated. So as you take a look at just how the group phase will work, all 4 groups going up against just the 20 teams in their groups. And then we get to winners round 2. A will be going up against B as far as the top 10 teams from those 2 groups. C will be going up against D as far as those top 10 groups for those 2 pools. And then you kind of see how that kind of goes from there. A little bit of a weird format, but more importantly, and kind of the discrepancy that a lot of people have kind of had, is the fact that everything up until Grand Finals 10 is just 3 rounds of gameplay combined to determine how your rounds went.
Literally, you could drop an egg and you could be in loser's bracket. Some great teams will do that as well. Yeah. You'll see some of these teams that we'll highlight tomorrow, and chances are 1 or 2 of them will end up dropping down to the loser's bracket just because it's a battle royale. You can mess up really easily.
anything can happen, right? That's the whole principle of Battle Royale. I mean, rule number one
Exactly.
of Battle Royale is that anything can happen. Or there's always at least another team that's around that could potentially third party you at the exact wrong moment.
They're always there. Always.
Beyond that, too, I mean, again, watching the EXP, and if you watch Pro League scrims of any sort, that early game is essentially the most uneventful part of the game. You know, we get down to round 4, round 5, and there are still 11 teams left. And again, you go back to that point differential. It's really 5th place and above that you start getting those significant amount of points. Really, even if you want to make the argument, it's really if you finish top 3, you're getting significant amount of points. And when there are 11 squads that are left by round 5, round 4, round 5, maybe even, you know, that final circle, that definitely makes things extra interesting. And I think one of the reasons why we saw the kills pay off so heavily when it came to the EXP, because there were teams that finished in 4th or 5th or 6th to 10th place, but were able to find 8 to 9 eliminations, and that could boost you above the team. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. And another thing is that most teams have dropped, like, guaranteed drop locations. They're already set. And they don't know everybody in Pool A. They don't know everybody's drop spots. You have to do a ton of homework, and chances are you're going to have 3 teams landing on Skulltown fighting over that. You're going to have 3 teams fighting over artillery wherever. So there's going to be a lot of griefing, I guess, per se, right there. So it's going to be crazy.
Well, it's one of those things, too, you know, like you mentioned, we'll be talking about the teams to watch for in another video just after this one. But the fact of the matter is that even when we're going to be going through those teams, there's 80 teams here, and there were only 20 at the EXP, most of which are not the same rosters that they're currently going to be going into. So as far as doing your homework, it almost seems unrealistic because there are so many players that got invited based off their Apex Predator points from ranked and stuff like that, to where you aren't going to know. It's going to be literally instant reactions to what you see jumping off the ship. But once again, I want to just kind of go through this bracket one more time just to give you guys the full wrap and just kind of go through it specifically. We'll start with how the winners bracket will work first. So again, like we mentioned, top 10 teams from each of the group phase will go into winners round 2. So what I have listed here is winners round 2.1 will consist of the top 10 from A plus the top 10 from B. Winners round 2.2 will be the top 10 from C and then from D. Winners finals will be the top 10 from each of those, and then grand finals will be the top 10 from the winners final and the top 10 from the losers final. Now, the interesting thing that I noticed in this bracket as we were kind of making this graphic here, Tinnerman, was the simple fact that as you get through the losers bracket, you're dealing with a situation, at least based on how Wikipedia has expressed it, that your losers round will also be the bottom 10 from A plus the bottom 10 from B in losers round 1.1. And then the bottom 10 from C and the bottom 10 for D for 1.2. But then when you get into losers round 2, you should be dealing with the best of A and B kind of going up against each other again. Like, losers round 2 should almost feel like a reprise of at least some of the matchups that you got from the group phase, because you're going to be getting some Group A teams pulled up against some more Group B teams once again. Same situation for losers round 2.B. You're going to be getting the C and D teams pulled back up against one another. So it's kind of like almost, at least based on how the format is expressed in the Wikipedia, it should be kind of a revenge-style situation put up into that losers round 2.
Yeah, I think. Well, you're gonna get the same matchups as it goes down. Winners. Well, the grand finals is gonna be some of the best Apex. Well, it will be the best Apex.
It will be the
we've
best.
ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But losers, first couple rounds of the losers will be pretty hard to watch, honestly. Just because there's a lot of teams here that don't really know how to play the game competitively. They just got invited because their ranked points were high. But after that, after I guess day 2, it's going to be some of the best Apex all around, continually, all day.
It's one of those things that it's kind of hard to put like a bearing on like what is great versus not great Apex, simply due to the fact that, again, the game is so young in its competitiveness, but beyond that, we're also dealing with, again, like you mentioned, at least the anticipation on paper would be that losers round 1 will consist of a lot of the teams that, like you mentioned, really was kind of a courtesy to invite them because of wherever they were ranked, but we just don't know. There could be some gems out there in the rough. I mean, we'll talk about this in our future video, but just again, a lot of these teams that we see with major orgs behind them that you immediately recognize were a lot of players that were picked up early in the time that Apex came out. You know, this was a game that popped off immediately, and hey, these orgs want to get representation. Let's find the best casual players we can. And sometimes that does not necessarily mean that you found the actual best players out there. So I'm very excited to see how these guys perform. And then just kind of to finish things off, the only other drop down to worry about is from winners finals. The bottom 10 from that game will actually drop down to just to the losers finals. Losers round 3 will be a best of the losers round 2, and then losers finals is the best of the people that have been making a losers round run, and then of course the losers from winners finals. So definitely some chance for some instant revenge there. I'm excited to see it. It's going to be a long couple of days, and honestly,
it's gonna be very long.
By the 15th, I think you're going to start seeing some fatigues kind of set in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of players who have never even been to LANs or anything close to it. So experience will really, really reign true here.
Indeed it will. And again, this is just for our preseason invitational format breakdown. If you guys want to catch more on teams to look out for, maybe some inside information on some of the players, make sure you guys follow up with the video that we're going to be coming up just after this, which will be our teams to watch video. Again, thanks for tuning in. If you're your first time here, hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. You'll be thinking about subscribing, ring that notification bell to know when the videos do pop up live. Till the next one, hope you guys keep holding it down. Later. Bye-bye.